Alright, so yeah, we're back. We're back with some more talking over Cuphead.
Fucking greatest series ever.
Yeah. I'm actually having a really good time just chilling on this couch talking with you.
I think the sad part is that half the time I'm looking just at the up and down of our speech
I am
lines,
too. I am too.
instead of actually looking at you and talking, so I'm going to try to not do that more.
Well, it's interesting because at this point we're so just used to not looking at each other when we talk that, like, by instinct we're looking at the only screen that's active.
And it just so happens to be the only thing up on it is Audacity, which is great.
So we just get to watch our wavelengths, I guess. No. Amplitude?
Wavelengths, I think, is also fine. It's the same shit. But...
I don't know. Somebody that's smart, tell me how I'm wrong.
I just did.
Yeah, I said somebody that's smart.
Shit, you right. But
Nah, I'm kidding, man.
I don't know if we can... This is an old meme, but the trying to make a penis out of the wavelengths as they go up and down. We've done it before, but I still think that that's just one of the silliest uses of Audacity that people can do. And it was a great meme that I wish hadn't died so early.
Yeah, alright.
So
No, I'm sorry for just shitting on what you were talking about. Oh boy. Xylophone master up in this.
dude, I'm so great.
Almost as good as when we were playing DnD.
God. That didn't have anything to do with the D&D campaign, and I was getting very pissed about it because I was like, I'm trying to actually not have people chop down this fucking tree, and you're just sitting over here hitting away on the xylophone.
I was also having a bad time because literally the one time I was trying to explain what I was doing, I was then cut off by the same people that just spent 10 minutes explaining the simple cutting down of the tree that they were doing to talk about cutting down the tree more.
That was honestly... First off, it seemed very out of character for Spars to me to just want to cut down the tree just to get a fucking spear that he had no interest in earlier on. Like, he didn't say anything about the spear when we were trying to pull it out. He was just sort of sitting there. I think that might have been because Cameron was playing Final Fantasy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But it didn't have any logical sense to me, so that's why I was getting pissed. It was more about that than the fact that my character actually cares about the damn tree.
Right.
He doesn't care about the tree. He didn't really care about the fucking fox either. It's just he likes foxes, so he's just pretending like he cares about the forest. But that aside,
my character... So, what was going through my character's mind when he was burning down the tree was definitely, like, getting all of their attention, because I'm pretty sure the others were in danger at that point.
Yeah, there was at least 3 people in danger, one of them being...
Because they'd been trapped, right?
2 had been trapped. Lucas had been fighting them and looked like he wasn't doing super well. He was doing major damage, but he was also, like, almost surrounded.
Right, and you had just tried to attack Olivia.
Yeah, and I had just tried to attack Olivia's character.
I
had missed horribly.
Right.
With both of my swings, but...
So then my character, being prideful as he is, thought, I can take him!
4 people just sitting there being wrecked.
Tried to fireball the tree. 1, because fuck that tree. 2, because that's, I'm assuming, where they got their power. I don't really know much about D&D, but I'm assuming that's where the spirits got their power from.
From what I could read, the tree was just sort of like the guardian of the forest. So maybe they drew power from it, but maybe it was also just sort of like their idol or whatever that they prayed to.
Oh, gotcha.
That had some connection to all the other forest stuff. But...
And then also I was thinking, if it burns down, we get the spear.
See, the sad part is that there was an obvious riddle that we all could have figured out, but we were just like, fuck it, we're just going to try to pull this shit out.
I'm pretty sure I was just being quiet at that point. Like,
yeah.
What was the riddle again?
It was basically, she who knows the name, just speak it out and you'll have me.
Right.
There was an actual like poem to it, but it was basically like somebody knows my name.
Yeah.
Somebody knows my name. If she speaks it, then this spear will be out. It's sort of like a Arthurian legend, you know, he who is worthy can pull the shit out of the stone.
Right. So, do you think one of us actually would have been able to like figure out?
Oh, most definitely. I think that was sort of the like planned way that Zach wanted to go about it. That one of us had some sort of knowledge of the arcane that could have figured that shit out, but none of us rolled high enough or even bothered to roll high enough. So,
did it specifically say she?
Yeah, it said she.
Wasn't Olivia?
Olivia was
her character was the only girl.
She's the only girl. She rolled low.
She also just tried to fucking pull it out.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know if Zach really knows what Spars' like identity is, because he keeps calling Spars a she sometimes.
Well, so does Cameron.
Right, which is very fucking confusing. But
and then I get confused, and of course, occasionally I'll call Mackenzie's character a she because it's Mackenzie, and I'm not thinking, oh right, she's not playing as Mackenzie. She's playing as Leather Daddy.
Yeah.
Vincent.
Yeah. At this point, Vincent's the only person that my character trusts, because he's just like, everybody else is either fucking retarded or they're trying to kill me. So
right, except Paul has justification to try to kill you.
Yes, and he understands that you have justification. He's still pissed.
Oh,
but he
sure,
understands it.
Because the context to why Paul is justified is because after we're talking about D&D, we are talking about a D&D session.
Yes.
Right now. But yeah, after Paul had fireballed the tree, which had no effect, to get everyone's attention, all of the dryads except for I think one attacked me, and then Michael, his character, attacked me.
Because I was mind controlled at the time, just so you know.
Right, he was mind controlled. That's what was going on there. I don't think we made that clear.
No.
And his character brought me down to 0.
Yeah. I fucking shot him with an arrow from about, like, 35 feet from a fucking longbow.
Yeah.
Like, this dude was dead.
So after our friend used Healing Word on me, I then, after we had killed all the dryads, they were dryads, right?
Yeah.
Our DM, Zach, was like, alright, so fight's over now, and I was immediately like, no, fight's not over.
I'm still attacking this douchebag who tried to kill me.
So then I attacked Michael's character, and I think I did like small damage to you.
You did about 3 damage, something like that.
Yeah. Not enough to kill you, but enough to make it clear I was trying to.
Yeah. I was very excited to find out what would have happened if I came over and did Cure Wounds on you. If, like, I got you up and was like, shit, dude, I'm sorry. You just, like, knocked me the fuck out. Like, I assumed that was what was going to happen.
If you had been the one to use Cure... Did your character know Cure Wounds?
Yeah, that was part of my evolution level up thing.
Oh, nice. I think if your character had used Cure Wounds, then my character would have been, like, well, confused, but he would have gotten it. He would have been like, all right.
Because, I mean, up to that point, before I shot you with an arrow, you were under the impression, like, nah, this dude is mind controlled. I understand what he's doing.
No, I think even, like, Paul was, like, still cognizant of the fact that you almost killed me while mind controlled.
Yeah.
But...
You almost killed me was
mad.
the main part.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if he hadn't attacked Paul, you still would have been like, okay, he attacked Ardendrian. I hate that he did that, but I understand why he did it, and it wasn't necessarily his fault.
Yeah, although, let's be honest, you might have done it without mind control.
To be quite fair, I very well may have.
At first, I didn't realize that you were, like, just as me, I didn't realize that you were mind controlled. And then Zach, like, mentioned that your eyes were, like, hazy afterwards, and I was like,
okay, that's why you asked him, like, is there something wrong with Alistair? Like, is something happening? And then he explained it.
No, what I asked was, does my character see?
Right.
Because if my character had not seen, then my character would have attacked you instead of the tree.
Right. Which makes sense. But Anyway, that's some D&D for you.
Yeah.
Hope you got your daily fix of that.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed hearing about a D&D session, which is so much better than actually hearing us play it, isn't it?
Oh, yes, definitely. But, yeah.
Do you want to go back to our conversation about GameStop and such, or should we move on from that?
I kind of figured that we had finished that. I think we had made our points. If you had other points to make, then feel free.
I don't think so.
So
as another conversation topic, I already asked you, like, which of the three, like, you prefer, which, interesting answer. I wasn't expecting that.
You were expecting Sony, I'm sure.
I was expecting
Yeah.
Sony.
I don't know why. Everyone thinks I'm a Sony fanboy, but I'm really not. I just really like Naughty Dog.
My question would be, what's your favorite console out of all consoles?
Okay, if we're talking...
None.
If we're talking just home consoles, then of just home consoles, it would be the PlayStation 2 because I have the most memories on it.
Right.
If we're talking about handheld consoles, Game Boy Advance, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, most memories on it. Plus, y'all don't know the beauty that was the link cables. And how, if you had the link cables, you were literally God in your friend group. That was the best fucking time, because I was the one with the link cables.
Right.
So I was God in everybody's friend group. But I also really like the Pokewalker idea, which is a game within a game of sorts, where you could transfer Pokemon from Diamond and Pearl to this like little pedometer of sorts that you could use, and you could play video games on that as well.
Yeah.
That was pretty neat. I like the concept of it. Poorly executed, I think, because it only could work with one game. If they could have had it like branch multiple games, it would have been neater.
Yeah.
And the battery is also shit. It died after about like 3 months. But so yeah, PlayStation, GameCube, Advance, Game Boy Advance rather. Just
to clarify, because I forget, did you say original PlayStation?
PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
all
sorry.
Right. Cool. I'd actually personally have to say probably like GameCube.
That would probably either be my second or my third.
And I'll have to admit, it is because I grew up with the GameCube. Like, I'm not blind to that. I am nostalgic for it.
I mean,
there were some good games.
I was about to say, if we look at the games, the best games of all time came on the Nintendo 64. But I think arguable...
Well...
Trust me, the best games of all time came on the Nintendo 64.
Name one.
Mario, Super Mario 64. You had the...
Just a Mario. Just the way you like nervously said
shit.
Mario.
I don't know which ones. I just got called out.
It's like,
my
oh my god, I was called out. I wasn't prepared for this. I was just making wild claims.
No. N64 Brawl was really damn good. The N64 version of Mario Kart was really good. The Metroid Prime games that they had on it were pretty damn good.
I almost feel like...
Donkey Kong Country was really damn good.
Like, they were good games, but I almost feel like you, as well as a lot of people, and this isn't a bad thing, but you're rating these games, like, saying that they're amazing and the best of all time, when looking at it now, they were revolutionary.
Yeah.
And I think revolutionary and greatness are two different things. Not they don't like they're not like mutually exclusive.
That's what I said can be,
but
different.
they're different. Like, I fully recognize that, say, Breath of the Wild, revolutionary, especially to Zelda standards, because you look at all the 3D Zeldas leading up to it, to varying degrees, they're all linear, and they all, like, you have to do things this order, and it's nothing like Breath of the Wild. You get to Breath of the Wild, it's so different. However, I believe it's a great game.
Yeah.
A lot of people believe it's a great game, but some people don't. And it's okay, because, I mean, you can't argue that it's, like, not revolutionary. Because it is. What you can argue is that it's not a good game. Because there are certain things about it that aren't good.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why I didn't mention GoldenEye, despite the fact that revolutionized, as you said. It revolutionized multiplayer gameplay. I didn't mention it because it just wasn't a really good game. It was a fun game, and it did a lot of cool things right, It also had a lot of bugs and was pretty shit.
Yeah.
I mentioned Mario 64 because they literally have not made a game, maybe barring Odyssey at this point, but they've not made a game that's had nearly as much replayability as Mario 64, at least in my opinion.
I haven't played any except for a little bit of Odyssey of the Super Mario, that kind of like game.
True.
What about Sunshine? Because I've heard that was an incredible game.
It was a fun game, had some damn good music, and I think that you could probably put that up there with 64, but without 64, and this is maybe, again, revolutionary instead of better game argument, but you wouldn't have had Sunshine without 64.
I can see that.
Like, it's basically a copy-paste, and then you instead of stars, you have, the Sunshines.
This is kind of off topic of what we're talking about, but with N64 games especially like if it's a franchise that went on to like later consoles, such as Zelda, although, I mean, that started before, but that was the first 3D Zelda.
Right.
Smash Bros. Mario Kart, that kind of stuff. It's like... And this isn't anything about whether they're good games or not. Like, I see them as, like... That's the standard set. Like, that most of the games that become bigger franchises that started or were revolutionized on the N64 are very basic. They're like, this is a basic Zelda story. Like, you think of it as, like, the most... I consider Ocarina a very vanilla, like, this is what standard we're setting as, like, this is a Zelda game.
Yeah, whereas...
3D Zelda game.
Whereas Majora's Mask is like, we're going to take this in a different direction.
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay.
And even, like, everything else after has some kind of gimmick to it. Such as, I mean, Majora's Mask, but completely different. Like, for looking as similar and running on the same engines, some of them, like, it's so different from Ocarina.
Yeah, and then...
but like, Wind Waker, sailing, and it's not... It's cel-shaded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's different. And then you move on to Twilight Princess, and you got Wolf Link and, like, the Shadow Realm or whatever. I haven't played through that, actually, so I only know, like, kind of basic stuff about it.
I mean, you do bring up some good points.
And you go to... I'm sorry, I just want to finish this out.
No,
you got Skyward Sword, and you got, like, the flying around on the Loftwing, and you got, like, the upper, like, what crashes down and becomes Hyrule, I'm pretty sure. And then you got the land down below, which is the land of Hyrule, or something. I don't know. I haven't played that at all, and I barely know anything about it. It's confusing to me, but, like, everything after, like, the Ocarina of Time setting of, like, this is 3D Zelda basic. Everything after has been, like, that formula kinda gimmick.
Fair.
In my opinion.
I mean, that's definitely a decent point. But when you mentioned the cel shading, the first thing that came to mind was like, shit, there's games like Jet Set Radio for the Xbox that were fucking amazing, and you still can go back to those games and be like, wow, this game has not aged poorly whatsoever. The music's still good, the gameplay's still fun.
And that game is cel-shaded?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
See, that's the thing. Cel-shading in, like, the older, like, that era of games, like PS2, GameCube, original Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Cel-shading, especially in the case of Wind Waker, wasn't looked at in a positive way. Because with the new, like, higher tech, higher spec kind of console, people were like, we want to see realistic stuff. We want it to be realistic. But when you look at what was realistic then, like if you look at Twilight Princess, it kind of looks like a bit of hot garbage compared to, say, Wind Waker. And I know I keep going back to Zelda, but it's what I know.
It's what you know, I understand.
It's easy for me because, especially since it goes back all those generations of consoles, and I know at least a general knowledge of all of them, it's easy to see, like, a progression of stuff.
Mm.
And it's taking stuff from the same franchise, both cel-shaded and non, in the same generation. Like, they're the same generation, In fact, the more realistic one came out afterwards, so they had a better like grasp of the specs, and yet still, Wind Waker looks better. Because with cell shading, it's a little more timeless, and because it doesn't look realistic, it still looks exactly as realistic as it did before, which is unrealistic.
Yeah. I mean, also, going for the realism graphically isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying that you're saying it is.
Oh, no, it's definitely not.
Because, I mean, if you look at the progression of the Resident Evil games, they were going for that in a lot of aspects.
Yes.
And then you look at the newest one, and holy shit, it looks amazing.
Yeah. Except, here's the thing. Maybe, a few games down the line, people are going to look back at this one and they're going to be like, oh, well, that was just whatever. That didn't even look good.
Which is definitely possible, but, I mean, if you're looking at games like the new Resident Evil, Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain to some extent even, you know, they're getting pretty damn close to replicating human, like, behaviors and how we look when we're expressing emotion. Like, I don't know if there's much further that you can go down that path without adding in an augmented reality or virtual reality portion to it so that you're actually, like, interacting with people. And they're already doing that to some extent with the remastered of Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
That's a VR assisted platform.
I've noticed that, especially, not even necessarily exclusives, but a lot of games that you can find on the PS4 have very either realistic or, like, they look so good, like, expression of humans, such as you say, like Heavy Rain. I would say that they did a really good job in, oh shoot, I'm trying to remember the name. Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
I
do get, like,
The Last of Us.
Last of Us had a really good.
And I thought they did a good job in A Way Out.
I haven't seen nearly enough of that, but from what I have seen, I think I can agree with you. I also, with Detroit Become Human, I think that they had a very Deus Ex feel to it as well, with the way that people looked, at the very least. Which is another game that I think really paved the way for a lot of decision-based games. You know, the original Deus Ex game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. How about this Cuphead boss that we're probably fighting right now?
I don't know, dude. We're probably going to have to find out on the next time if we can actually kick his ass.
Yeah. We'll give that a few minutes, though.
Oh, okay.
It is always interesting to look back at games that were considered, like, this is, like, the new, or, like, just specs in general, like, this is the new best thing.
True.
Like, when HD came out, people were going wild.
Oh, dude.
People were like, I mean, I'm not even talking, like, games, just, like, in general, HD. People were like, wow, it's so good.
Yeah.
And now you have 4K.
Dude, I fucking remember when people were, like, going balls to the wall about plasma TVs, dude. Like,
yeah.
That shit was, everybody's like, yo, my best friend's mother just got a plasma TV. We gotta go over to that person's house.
Plasma?
Oh! I'm still working with this fucking CRT shit over here at home.
I've got a CRT.
Dude. Yeah.
So, it's crazy, especially when you think, like, and I'm sure this is what everyone thinks, but, like, you look at what we have right now, and you're like, whoa, I mean, how can you even get better than this?
And then it gets better.
And then you're like, wow, well, of course it got better than that, when you're looking at it backwards. And it's like, how good can we get?
And that also brings to question, like, what's going to end up making things good in the future. Because if the graphics are already as good as they are right now, and I don't see them becoming more human, like, it's going to be marginal increases at this point, from going from, like, the 8/16-bit to, holy shit, that is literally a person's mouth that's been morphed onto a video game character.
Yeah.
I don't see how they can get better in that regards.
Yeah.
So is it going to be the VR AR stuff? Is it going to be the controls having, like, better rumble assist so that you can actually feel like you're in it? I don't know what they can do next.
I really think that Nintendo is really trying to work on the Rumble stuff. They did a good job with the Switch, and I think they're gonna go even. I think they're gonna try to get like even better than that with whatever they're doing next.
I mean, they have the AR like blueprints in the Switch as it is right now. They have a infrared camera so that they can detect which shit is in your house.
Yeah.
Or then, in the world around you, since it is a mobile console. Mm-hmm.
And then we also have like the Vive. I think Sony threw their hat in the ring.
They have
the Oculus. We got VR, and like this VR is getting better and better. Like, I mean, I thought it was wild as shit when it like first came out, and people were just able to like look around. But like now, there's full experiences built around VR, and it's incredible.
I can see that getting a hell of a lot better. It is in its beginning stages, but
it's not great right now. But like,
they need to fix the motion blur so that it doesn't make people sick as fuck. They need to fix the graphic projection, because even games that are supposed to look damn good just don't look super great on VR just yet. And they need stuff like what The Void is doing. They're going to need to have like amusement parks so that you can actually experience the game, you know, in a more interactive setting. You know, just walking around in your house on a treadmill or something isn't enough for me.
Yeah,
you need to have an actual like I want to play fucking God, what was the spirit? I want to play Mirror's Edge on a VR game, but I don't want to do it from like in my house. I want to do it on an actual place where I'm jumping from one place to the next so that I get hurt, and I can actually like be like, shit, I almost died there.
So what you're saying is,
like, I didn't die.
So what you're saying is, you want SAO. Well, not like SAO, but like that type of technology.
In a sense, yeah. I think that would be pretty neat.
I mean, that's really the end goal, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what's after that. Like, it's all... That's the thing about innovation. It's
actually,
always like, how can you go further than this?
True.
But then people do.
But no, I think I'd be more Ready Player One, where they have like the mocap suits or whatever that you put on so that you know,
right,
can actually do shit.
So it's instead of like taking input
your
from your brain,
or whatever, yeah.
Which I don't know how that would even work. I don't think that's possible.
You'd be fucking surprised, dude. We could figure something out, I'm sure.
Probably, but like, I don't know how it's possible. Let me rephrase that.
True. I think that the problem with a system like that, though, is that you could also highly weaponize that shit if they did figure it out.
Oh, of course.
So you have to, you know, as with all science, you have to sort of be careful to not go too far that you lose your morality.
Right. But it is crazy, because you look at just like NES stuff. Like, you look at Super Mario. You look at Mario, and you're like, hey, that's a little guy. That's Mario. And you're like, you can see what every pixel on him represents. And you're like, I got it. I know what Mario looks like. Mm-hmm. And now we see him in Super Mario Odyssey. And it's like, wow. Like, I kind of knew that's what he looked like. But now I see him in, like, such great detail. And it looks so good. And we can still go further.
Yeah.
And that's wild.
I really
we can get more expressive, more detailed.
I just really hope that they keep the cartoony feel for some games like Mario.
It works with Mario.
Exactly. I don't want to see a Mario that looks like an actual Italian fat-ass plumber.
No.
Like, if I wanted to see a fat-ass plumber, I would just look in my fucking kitchen when he's doing work. Like, that's not what I want.
That's why I don't think I said realistic, and if I did,
you didn't.
I said detailed.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference.
You did say detailed. I was just bringing up that point because some people might misconstrue it and be like, well, he said detailed, so realistic, right? No, different.
Yeah. I also think, like, I wouldn't want the kind of realism that you see with some of those games that we were talking about earlier, with stuff like... Actually, it might work with Metroid. It might. But it wouldn't work with Zelda.
No, it wouldn't work with Zelda. It wouldn't work with Mario. It wouldn't work with Sonic.
Oh my god, realistic Sonic. I'm just trying to think of how they would...
Wait, it could work with Sonic.
Well, not like making him look like an actual hedgehog, but like if they made like
if they had humans that looked realistic and had him like enter the real world for a thing, I think that would actually be a decent Sonic game.
Wasn't that what they tried to do with Sonic 06?
Yes, but they didn't do it well. I want a Sonic 06 2, Sonic 06 harder.
And then, if they make a third one when that doesn't work out, it can be called Sonic 06 with a Vengeance.
Exactly.
Well, that's a good thought. Let's ponder that, and we'll go to the next time on Game Squad.
Ponder.